Why do we struggle sometimes? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's just how it is. I feel like all of the podcasts out there are like, look at how perfect they are. I don't want to show you how perfect. I want to show you how crappy we are.
Yes. Like, I
Life
swear.
is a mixture of everything. It's rainbow poop.
Hit it.
They're here.
Don't cross the streams.
Bueller.
I'll have what she's having.
Great Scott!
Why did it have to be snakes?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Bueller.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. I'll be back.
I am your father.
Bueller.
I feel the need. Grenade. First aid.
It's showtime.
Hello there.
Hi, my sister.
All right. Welcome back to the Silver Screen Sisters. I am Billie.
And I am Sophie.
And we are here to discuss yet another 80s movie that Sophie has never seen before. I had seen it before. This episode will be about Batteries Not Included.
The residents of 817 East 8th Street are about to lose everything they have. Nothing in this world can save them. Nothing but a miracle.
Sophie, what's going on? What's new?
What's new with life? Let me think about it. Well, we started a podcast. That's pretty new. But other than that, life's normal here. We just, got school. I think everything's good over here. I think we are golden on this side of the state. How are you over there?
I am doing all right. My arm is getting better slowly but surely, which means I've been getting up and doing more around the house. And I don't quite understand how my body is working yet. So it's kind of hit or miss. But other than that, we're, living the dream. I totally just, in pure Billie fashion, I absolutely just watched this movie last night.
Unlike me. I did it this morning.
This is how we roll.
Which is okay. Sometimes you don't get to it. There's, other things that get in the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what were your initial thoughts?
Okay, initial first thought, I love Jessica Tandy. Here.
Yes.
I should pull it up. I think she is so cute.
She kind of reminded me of Audrey Hepburn.
She had the style of Audrey. Mm-hmm. And I loved her in Fried Green Tomatoes. Do you remember that movie?
Barely. It's been so long since I've seen it.
I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it has Kathy Bates. Definitely rewatch it.
Yes.
As, an adult, it's way better.
Okay.
But anywho, she caught my eye. I was really excited. Knew nothing about it. So I just jumped right in.
Fun fact, the gal who plays Marissa, the Hispanic pregnant lady, she voiced Mirage in the Incredibles movie.
She did?
Yeah, that's her.
Oh, how funny.
Anyway, yeah, tell me some of the facts that you found.
So in the beginning of the movie, it shows a whole bunch of photos.
Yes.
And I guess they are real photos of Frank and Faye because they were married for so many years until she passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
They looked so photoshopped.
That's what I said. I was like, look at this. I feel like my Photoshop skills is like that. But no, they were real pictures of them together.
That is so bizarre.
How bizarre. How bizarre. How bizarre.
Like, obviously, they didn't even have Photoshop back then, but, they could fudge around with the negatives of pictures and stuff like that to make it look like they've spliced heads onto people and stuff. But wow, that's really impressive. Like, that those were real pictures. Wow.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they've had a long career together.
Aww.
I thought that was cute reading. There was going to be a horror movie named Batteries Not Included. But I'm guessing they got a cease and desist from this. Can you guess what horror movie was going to be named this?
Chucky.
You
I
saw
did not.
it, didn't
I
you?
really didn't. But I was thinking, the only thing with a toy would have been Chucky.
Well, damn it, you're so smart.
Oh, that would have been really funny.
It is really good. Let's see. Ooh, this was fun. A very young Luis. I say it wrong every time. Luis Guzman, the Puerto Rican actor who's in everything. He was in so many things. He had a little cameo.
Oh, dang it. Where's that?
I believe it's in the final scene. And he's just standing in the background.
Oh, okay.
But he's in everything. I can only think of Waiting right now with Ryan Reynolds.
Did he have a proposal with Ryan Reynolds as well? Wasn't he like the dancer?
Oh, I want to say yes. Oh, God, I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I'm probably wrong. Whatever.
Other fun facts. Well, I got some like sad facts because I know that woman, Marissa, she passed away October 14th, 2014. I guess she died the same day that Carlos died, and he died tragically young. He died at 30 in 1989 from a heart condition.
Oh my God. I was wondering because he was so good in this movie. I'm like, he looks vaguely familiar, but I feel like he should have gone on to do more and more. But man, that's only 2 years after this movie. Ugh.
Right. Yeah. That's what I thought. He was so great in it. This was the first script credit of future Pixar filmmaker Brad Bird.
He's the guy who wrote
The Incredibles and also Ratatouille.
And Ratatouille.
Cody really likes that one.
I love that one too.
He's into cooking.
Yeah.
What's cooking good looking? Okay. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that caught my eye. Oh, Jessica Tandy. She won Best Actress at the Saturn Awards for this movie.
She was so good. For those who are trying to put it together, faced with the name, she's the one who played the Alzheimer's character, the absent-minded mom.
And also, the film was nominated for Best Fantasy Film, but it missed the award because The Princess Bride won it.
Oh, timing!
All this timing. Things are connecting. I love it.
Yeah. You know what, though? I would not put this movie on the same caliber as Princess Bride, though.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, no way.
That's why Princess Bride won.
That would be why, but...
But yeah, I feel like there might be a couple more. They'll probably pop into my head as we go through the movie. So to give a rundown, we have Frank and Faye Riley. They are the owners of this restaurant in this village in New York, right? So this building they're living in is condemned. It's like everything's being torn down around them, which in the beginning was hilarious. I'm like, what is this older lady doing walking to a torn down store?
I know, right?
I was thinking, are they Looney Tunes? Like, what's happening here?
I saw this movie before, but I didn't remember that part, and I didn't remember Faye like that. I remembered the character, but I just, it'd been a while since I've seen the movie. And I was like, what is the crazy bag lady doing here?
She's marketing, okay?
She's marketing with nothing in her market bag.
But yeah, you get a feel real quick for these two people, and everything's going down, all the buildings around them.
Yeah.
Everyone in this building is being forced out by this bad guy, Carlos, because he is hired for somebody who's, making a profit.
Yeah,
It's all
Mr. Lacy.
business. Exactly. Yeah. And we meet 3 of the other tenants and get a background real quick on them. So yeah, you get the gist of what's going on real quick. And the whole point of this movie is things are going bad for everyone, but these spaceships...
Sentient spaceships that are about the size of a hubcap.
They find Earth and need electricity, and they happen to go to this building first out of all the buildings, which was quite comical. I enjoyed the whole setup. It was... Again, supposed to be a comedy. There were parts that were just so sad.
I know.
If they weren't so sad, I might like this movie more. It was just too much back and forth. Nobody wants to get kicked out of their place and have their shit all broken by Carlos and his gang and his bat and, And
then the Alzheimer's and the death of their son.
Sad.
And it was just... I mean, I think it was beautiful in that sense because it really is life. It represents life on a whole lot of different levels. Some things just go really shitty, but then some things are just like, what the fuck? And they're funny. Yeah. And even in the darkest times, there are still light moments. And
thanks, Dumbledore, for your words of wisdom.
I didn't even think about that, but yes.
It was very beautiful.
Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times. If one only remembers to turn on the light.
What do you know about the music?
Okay, so the music was, the score was composed by James Horner, and he is very well known in the music composing world for movie scores. He actually just passed away not too long ago, a few years ago, in a plane crash. He was flying his own plane, and I don't know all the details, but it crashed, and unfortunately he died. He was a a big collaborator with James Cameron. He wrote the scores for Titanic and Avatar. And he wrote the song, My Heart Will Go On. Some other movies that he did was Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, Aliens, that will be coming up on our podcast at some point.
Hopefully.
Sophie, do you remember the movie An American Tail?
Well, the Go West one was the best.
Oh, yeah. Feifel Goes West was the better one. I loved that one the most. But he apparently wrote the score for An American Tail, and he wrote the song Somewhere Out There.
Woof, woof, woof. Bark. Bowie, bowie, bark. Woof. Bark, bark, bark. Woof, woof, woof. Bark, bark, woof, woof, bark. Barky, barky,
That music was so happy as a child. And that movie also was dark in certain
some places, for real.
However, the gist of it was a good feeling. Mm-hmm. Unlike The Never-Ending Story, but that was last week, so...
That really tore you up, didn't it?
Fuck, dude. I'm still scarred from that.
Real quick, he also did movies like Field of Dreams, Apollo 13, Braveheart, and A Beautiful Mind. The guy was a genius. Anyway, so I really enjoyed the music. And you know what's funny? I'm going to compare it to Neverending Story. Remember last time I said, the story itself was really awesome, but the music totally took me away from the movie, right? I just didn't enjoy the movie as much as I think I could have because the music it's not my jam.
Right.
Opposite, I think, happened here. This movie, it presented itself one way, and then suddenly aliens just show up out of nowhere, and I'm like, what the hell? So the story takes a sharp left, and I'm like, okay, this is a very weird and bizarre feeling of the movie, and I'm not sure I'm into it. But then James Horner's music just totally sucks me right back in.
See, at least it was the music for you. For
me,
so. It was Faye, because...
Oh, and Faye.
With
Absolutely.
her dementia and just how witty and silly she was at times.
Yeah, and she still connected with everybody. She connected with the aliens, she connected with the other tenants, and she connected with, most importantly, I felt, Carlos.
AKA Bobby.
AKA Bobby. Which that was really freaking sad, too. But
once we find out, but...
Right. But in the end, that actually saved her life. Mm-hmm. Which is crazy. Anyway, but that's what I know about the music.
I mean, it was sweet and simple this time.
Yes. Right at the beginning, we see that this building is in pretty dire straits here. And
it's not up to code.
It's not up to code. This big bad corporate dude wants to build these giant skyscrapers in this village. They're holding out. I think they actually owned the building and they were refusing to sell it to this guy. And that's why Carlos was just coming in and throwing money at them.
Here's an envelope of money. Take it.
Yeah. And some people do. I think Sid and...
Muriel and Sid.
Muriel and Sid. They were like, yep, nope, we're going to Jersey.
And Mason's girlfriend left him.
Yes.
Because he's an autist. So yeah, we get a gist of all the characters and we see Carlos go in and smash things. And
So Carlos comes rip-roaring in, throwing money at people to get him out. And, a whole lot of people refuse. I think in a way that building holds a lot of history for Frank and Faye. And that on top of, Faye's dementia and the death of Bobby, that I could see that being a very compelling reason for them to stay. And it's their restaurant, of course. Uprooting it and moving it or whatever at their age is just impossible.
You did hear Faye say something. I can't remember when it was, but she was like, I haven't heard about Eisenhower for a while in the paper.
Oh, General Eisenhower.
And that would have been, what, 40s?
General Eisenhower.
50s, 40s?
I guess.
He was a president, right?
We're terrible with history. Yeah, so the fact that she was remembering him as only a general at that point, he wasn't even president yet. So Carlos comes in. Sorry, getting back on track here. Carlos comes in, and he's getting frustrated that people aren't taking the money, especially Frank and Faye. So he takes his bat and he starts smashing the whole cafe. He just smashes the table, all of the things. And then Faye, when he starts smashing the table, she thinks it's a party. And so she grabs her cup and she just throws it on the floor. And she's so happy doing it. And I'm just like, yeah, that's relatable.
That's relatable, my kid doing something.
Yeah, it was such a childlike moment.
And Carlos looked like a mom, like, what are you doing?
He's like, you're weird. It totally took him out of it too. And then he just lost it and started just smashing everything, which is, you know, again, I don't remember. I have watched this movie before, but I didn't remember a whole lot of the beginning. So it took me aback seeing all of the chaos and everything, because I totally forgot about what the spaceships do.
Yeah, it's fast paced and chaotic in the beginning. So I think that's why it's hard to remember. But yeah, it's basically that day, like, look at what's happened. And at night, our alien friends arrive.
So yeah, at this point, it's pretty clear that everybody's life in this building and the building itself is just pretty shit. And it sucks. But at the same time, like, Faye has this endless optimism about her. And I'm just like, okay, there's a good juxtaposition there. I like that. But by the end of this whole scene, you know, Frank has had just a really shitty day. And at the end, he's just like, please, somebody help us. And that's when the movie takes a giant left turn.
The quickest way to end a miracle is to ask it why it is, or what it wants.
I remember the aliens coming in at some point, but when I was watching this again, I'm like, this doesn't feel like a, quote, alien movie to me. This feels like just like an everyday movie. We've only had people, we have a very real life situation, and then out of nowhere, here comes this flying alien. And I couldn't tell. Robert said that this is not CGI. Like, they actually used models with a green screen behind it or a blue screen or something to kind of cut and paste it onto the film.
Mm-hmm. It looks like it. With the little ones, I see that.
Oh, yeah.
At night, when I'm not really sure why they came there, but they were looking for electricity. It wasn't like a miracle. It was resources.
Yes.
Like any business, resources. So, yeah. And Faye wakes up and finds them.
Yeah. They settle into the upstairs, or the roof, birdcage that Bobby used to keep pigeons in.
Was that real? I thought Frank was making up a lie when everybody got together the next morning to find Faye. She was on the roof and she's like, the little ones, and he's all, stop. I thought he was just making up a story like, we used to have pigeons. That's why she's here.
Oh.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It could have been, yeah. I mean, we do see how he kind of lies to compensate and excuse his wife's behavior to other people. So that makes sense.
I mean, it was probably popular back in the 40s.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it was a lie.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the birdcage was there, so obviously it had been used at some point. So I don't know. What was really, really cool, though, is in the morning, before they go looking for Faye, I mean, obviously they realize Faye is missing, but they all start to realize that, holy shit, everything's fixed. The picture was fixed. The cafe downstairs was completely fixed. And everything that had been broken, like the Mason's door was fixed. Marissa's saint on top of her refrigerator was fixed. Harry's glass jar of tiles was fixed, including a little, like, decoration, like a little thing. Yeah. But that's how everything gets all fixed up with the
aliens.
It was kind of, I thought it was so freaking cute because the aliens were like, yeah, thank you for the electricity. Here's our payment. And they just fixed everything. But at the same time, that's kind of just what they do.
What, capitalism?
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. Supply and demand? No, wait.
I just loved it. It was so cute. It was just so funny how they were just like, we're fixers. We're going to fix your stuff. And thank you for the energy. Like, it was really cute.
Everything was getting better. And the diner looked so great afterwards.
Oh, it was beautiful.
So it was definitely a miracle.
And you could definitely see, like, Frank looking around going, oh shit, am I just as crazy as my wife now?
I would question too after seeing little
absolutely. I would think
spaceships.
I'd gone off the deep end. Absolutely.
I'm like, who put the LSD in the eggs again? This is not okay. This isn't Men Who Stare at Ghosts.
Right. And so that's when Frank starts putting pieces together and he starts looking for Faye, and now everybody in the building's looking for Faye, and they go upstairs and there she is, like, throwing, I love it. She's like throwing nuts and bolts and screws and shit into the into the cage as if it was bird feed.
I really enjoyed Mason because he was the one that was like, just give her a chance when Frank was losing his shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know? But I did like him and his character a lot. I feel like I could relate to him.
Oh, yeah. As an artist, 1,000%.
Oh,
and
I was just going to say getting drunk and throwing my paintings out the window.
So then, obviously, like, they figure out, hey, these things are actually here. And I thought the funniest part, though, was when Mason gets electrocuted and he flies back out of the shed. Faye says, quote, "Who in their right mind stands in a puddle and sticks a fork in a wall socket?" And then she does that, like, crazy twist of the finger around her head. And I was like,
crazy. She's just losing it.
I thought it was so freaking funny. I'm like, yep, that's classic humor right there. But yeah, then they start talking about, like, you know, trying to figure out what these things are. And Mason, funny guy he is, like, he just starts calling, like, I guess, like, the CIA or FBI or, dude, he's probably on the phone with Fox Mulder at this point from X-Files. Like, who knows? And he's just getting the runaround.
Well, and we forgot to mention, we found out that the police don't care.
Oh, yeah.
In the beginning, they reported it. Was it Mason or, well, Frank? And they were just like, well, if you testify and say they'll have 15 guys testify they weren't there. And if they're in jail when they get out, you're out of luck anyways. And they just didn't care to help.
Nope. And he's like, well, then patrol the neighborhood. And the guy's like, what neighborhood? Because of all
there's nothing there.
There's nothing there anymore. Oh, yeah. We forgot the whole mating dance situation. Like, they were all...
Yes. So this movie could have gone without that stuff. But yes, let's talk about it.
So, okay. It becomes clear that the reason why they've picked this building is that, you know, it makes a good nest, I guess. It has a good nest for them to hook up, do their thing, and then suddenly she's pregnant.
That was where it was too much for me. It was good, and then I'm like, come on.
Yeah, it got a little real with the alien stuff, but, you know, procreation, it happens. It keeps cutting back and forth between whatever's happening in this building versus what Carlos is doing, which I thought was really good considering the change of character that Carlos goes through, like the progression of his character. But I have to give a shout out for that totally killer satin wife beater that he was wearing. That's goals. I think I need that in my life.
He was looking fresh when he was trying to kick him out.
Oh my God.
And he comes the next day to kick him out, and he's like surprised as fuck.
Oh yeah. And then like he plays, oh my God, that actor, he was so good. He plays like the legit, like, what the fuck is happening? And he's like completely freaked out, superstitious. And he's like, are there ghosts? What are they? And then like, oh God, it was so good. He did that so well.
Yes. But basically these spaceships, one takes a pan, one takes a pot, one takes a pan. Mm-hmm. It's a pot or a pan. I don't know. What is it? Are you going to tell me?
A pot.
Okay. So he takes this pot and he, like just starts hitting Carlos on the head, and you can't see the spaceship because it's in the pot.
Mm-hmm.
So I see why it gets all freaky deaky for Carlos.
Oh yeah. Like, can you imagine like just having a floating pot coming at your head? Like, oh Jesus, I probably would pass out. I forgot to mention earlier, like during the first night when everybody just had a really shitty day about all of the things, Mason throws his paintings out the window. Like, I think you mentioned it earlier, like an artist's prerogative. Go ahead and throw your shit out the window. It's all garbage anyway, right?
Yeah.
But he also had remorse almost immediately after when he heard the garbage trucks, like the next morning, and he thought they were taken in the garbage. And surprise, Marissa actually took them, which we find out right around this time when she goes back into her apartment. And Mason's following her, and she's like, nope, you really can't come in because she's hiding the paintings.
I would be mortified too. That's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
But I like how she was saying how she could see so much with the paintings, because it's art. You just have to stare at it for a while. So
yeah, at this point, we kind of get more insight to Carlos as well. Like, he's starting to tell everybody, his buddies, dude, there's something weird going on over there, and I saw this and that and the other thing, and his friends are just like, you're fucking crazy, and we're gonna leave you here. Bye-bye.
Dude, and this was the best part. They're watching across the street, and he's looking with his binoculars, and when he's looking to see what's in the bird cage, Faye's looking back and with her
waving
and waving and smiling like, hey Bobby, it's so funny.
But yeah, and then of course, like, when Mama Alien starts to give birth, like, she blows the fuses of the house. I thought that was, or the building. I thought that was so funny how Frank just sticks a freaking chef's knife in place of the fuse. I'm like, that
should have burned down the building.
I was going to say,
they didn't need anybody else to do it.
That's right. I was like, that's legit. That's what, yeah. Don't do that at home, kids. Just don't do that. That's bad.
Kids, they shouldn't even be listening.
Anyways, the babies are born, and yay, it's kind of freaking weird.
The aliens have babies that are obviously built together, but also come out like human babies.
Very bizarre.
How bizarre.
But then, like, that's when Harry first talks. He goes, batteries not included, when the third one came out, and yeah.
It looks like a dud. Like, it didn't work. It didn't fire.
Dud.
I'm sorry, but they are spaceships. I'm not going to humanize this.
That was the weirdest part. It's like there was a huge, like, machine versus life. Oh, it's just so bizarre. And then suddenly, like, how do you feel about the third one not being, quote, alive, end quote? What? Like, I don't even know how to feel about that, because to me, machines are machines and they're not really alive.
They're putting the emotional aspect behind it in this movie, which I didn't catch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was very bizarre.
How bizarre.
And then, like, obviously, Marissa, she, Mason is thinking like we are, like, it's just a machine, whoop-de-doo, right? And then Marissa's, like, obviously very pregnant. She's like, it's a baby, it's alive, he lost his life and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, way to make a pregnant hysterical character and make her look crazy.
If you've not had those hormones, dude, it is very real, and they made that perfect. But it was stupid. The hormones make you be like that.
Yeah.
I kind of laughed at that since I've had two kids. After that happened, though, Harry, like, digs it up and steals it anyways from its little garden tomb.
Yeah, he just takes it and just runs.
He's a funny character. He is the kind of guy that's like, I don't have to share my plans with anybody.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna do it myself. That's how Harry lives.
He never says a word. Just watches TV. Loves the commercials.
So he takes little man and runs over to his apartment. Yeah, then he just hides out and hooks the poor little guy up to a battery and charges him back to life. I thought it was really cute.
You really think this movie's cute? I'm like,
It was cute in individual parts, but as a whole, it was very freaking weird. Like, it was just maybe a little too much in one movie. I don't think they made it believable enough. I think that's what the problem is. But in this case, like, I didn't connect with it, because to me it felt so unbelievable.
Well, with the human birthing spaceships.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, there's that. But then, like, even in the beginning, like, buildings being torn down all around them and they're the holdouts. Yeah, that's the premise for a story, I guess, but...
No, it was over the top ridiculous.
Yeah.
Even, like, kicking them out and hiring somebody to, like, break their shit.
Yeah.
I get that.
It was so bizarre.
How bizarre. How bizarre.
Anyway, so at that point we get like a random ass interlude in the middle of the story where the cafe is now up and running and the Frank and the aliens are making food and
they fixed up the whole diner. So all of the construction people came to eat.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Since they're there anyways working. And Carlos comes in too, and that's where you get a sense of Faye thinking Carlos is Bobby, her late son, that you find out died at 18.
You can see he's starting to respond to her on an emotional level at that point. And he doesn't want to, but he is. And I think, at this point, she says some really nice things about him that I don't think anybody ever would have told him. So yeah, at that point, shit goes sideways and Carlos leaves and all the stuff.
Yeah, because he's trying to prove the fix-its are there and nobody believes him.
Yeah, and he sees him too. He sees him with the whole thing of hamburgers and he's like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, he's not having a good time there anymore.
Nope. But yeah, and then little man comes back to life, goes through the largest drain on the whole planet, and ends up doing like a grappling hook out of the toilet.
Which
so
is weird because, batteries like electricity and water.
I know.
Mix, but whatever.
I know.
I already don't believe at this point, so.
All right. Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, we have a lot of electromagnetic stuff going on in us.
Like electrolytes?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway.
Plants crave it. Okay. Okay, so now we've got 3 little ones.
Yep.
And at this point, doesn't Carlos go and talk to Lacey, and he's basically fired, and they replace him. But Carlos still doesn't get the hint and breaks in later that night anyways to sabotage shit.
Yeah, it's at this point a matter of pride for him. He doesn't want to fail at something like this when in his mind it should have been an easy thing.
Right, but that's more like a workout class.
Yeah.
Or, not sabotaging people's lives, but okay.
We see that Mason and Marissa are growing closer. Mason's painting a picture of her, and suddenly we have a nude.
Yes.
Which, they're not even together and he's drawing a nude. Amazing.
Which was funny because she was, pissed off about it. But then her baby daddy comes back. Because we find out that he's a musician.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. Artist, musician. She's got a type.
She's definitely got a type.
And she said he was going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And he did.
Which everybody was like, yeah, right.
Oh,
at the time, But he came back.
He came back, and my first thought was, go away. You clearly don't give a shit about your baby mama.
Yeah. He's off having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's just a job, right?
Just a job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this next part was so freaking funny. Alien Mom is now trying to teach the kiddos how to fly. I thought that was hilarious. She was pushing him off of the stairs, and then one of them was like, no, and grabbed onto the side of the stair, and suddenly a saw comes out, and I'm like, no, she's not going to cut off his fingers, is she? Mm-hmm. She does not.
No, I thought she did.
No, she cuts the side of the step away, and then he loses his grip and he falls. And that's when little man comes out and he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to save you. And by the way, I'm alive.
Yes, he was getting trained by Harry, dog whistle and all. So I think there was this kind of side alliance with Harry. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He raised him now.
Yeah.
He brought him to life and raised him. So.
Oh yeah. So is Harry now the mother?
Is the little one now Frankenstein's monster? I'm just curious.
I just love it.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Okay. And then we Harry's starting to open up a little bit more, and he quotes a commercial at this point. He says, "We bring good things to life," which is a commercial for GE in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
This part of the movie was so weird because I felt like they put in snippets of the residents in this building and how life now is with the aliens. But most of the action is happening with Mr. Lacey and Carlos and all that stuff.
What the hell is this?
It all comes back, the crime comes back around to them because when Carlos breaks in to the basement, he breaks a water pipe. He, starts fucking with electric shit. So they go down and investigate, and he fucking swipes one of them. Is it the female or the male?
The male, yeah. And even at that point, I was like, no!
That was quite sad.
Yeah, he was flailing around and slowly obviously injured and like slowly trying to like figure life out and stuff, or, you know, sort of slowly figuring out, you know, what the hell's happening. And he's like slowly dying and just, but then I was like, wait, they're fixers. Yes. So of course, Mama Spaceship just grabs him and starts to fix him. Like,
yes, but while she's fixing it, the younglings fly off, and she's like busy. Yeah, and then everybody inside the house, they leave, and was it to find the younglings? Why am I having a brain fart?
Yeah, they left to go find the younglings. So anyway, this is now where, you know, Carlos makes a mess in the basement, breaking all the things, the water and all that kind of stuff. And then he hits the robot with the axe. But then that's when Harry comes in.
I'll take door number 1.
Wait, are you not going to address why he put on his boxing gloves, Harry? Is because Carlos grabbed his face and threw him down the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
And so then, it's like, that's it, man.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, Harry can put up with a lot of shit, apparently, but that was the limit. And so Harry's like, got his boxing gloves, and Carlos is like, doing fucking nothing to this guy. And he's like, I'll
like
take door number 1.
Door number 1.
Oh, yeah. So Harry goes, I'll take door number 1. And that's actually from the old version of the game show, Let's Make a Deal, which I think ended in the 70s or something like that. But there was probably a lot of reruns and stuff at the time. But
and these like references right over my head, because how would I know without looking it up, you know?
Yeah. It just, the way his character presented and the fact that he was only saying like slogans from commercials and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, nah, I gotta look these up. Because it's the 80s. It's part of what we're doing this, you know, like, how many times have we said, I'll take door number 1, I'll take door number 3, or whatever. That's from that game show. And I think all of us just forgot.
Well, I don't say that because I forgot about that saying. So that's why I was like, what's this?
Gotcha.
It's like really gone from my mind. There's little pieces like the never ending story that just like come back.
Ugh. The poor horse.
Well, at this point, so Carlos out the window. They go and look for the younglings, and Lacey has hired an arsonist, right?
Well, hold on. You skipped over a very important part here.
What part?
Well, this is the part where Bobby, like, the truth about Bobby comes out. Like, Frank is like, Bobby's dead! Because Faye was trying to go after Carlos because she thought Carlos was Bobby. And Frank was like, Bobby's dead. He's been dead.
I think it was the emotional, like, throwing back and forth that I chose to not remember that part. I'm trying to remember the funny parts, but you're right. It was, like, confrontational. She had to face it.
I'm not a director. I'm not a movie person. Ha ha, here we are. But to me, it just didn't feel right in that moment. Kudos to the actors, though. I felt like the actors who played Frank and Faye, A+.
Well, because they were married for decades and decades.
Oh, yeah. They've been actors for decades and stuff. Like, they're amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not criticizing their performance at all. I think just the way that the movie framed it was interesting.
Yeah. Well, it needed to be out. She needed to realize, because Carlos does come back and help her later on that night. So it needed to be framed that way. Yeah. So later it's more dramatic.
Agreed. I just felt the style of it was off. Because I think with something like that, we're so used to all the drama that to me at this point, I'm like, oh, this is kind of like a older family movie, but that's really freaking heavy to have in a movie like this.
Yeah.
So anyway, they go looking for the babies, and oh my God, the dog whistle. Can we just talk about how annoying. I don't know. Oh God, I know. I don't know. It's so annoying.
They might as well had one of those, what do you play in 4th grade? Those recorders. Might as well had one of those. And been like,
the recorders. Ugh, I can't stand recorders. Anyway, so yeah, especially the dog whistle through the megaphone or whatever the heck he was holding. Is that a megaphone?
Yes.
Yeah. That was a bit much. But then I thought it was pretty funny how the little guy is like, suddenly his satellite comes out. He's like, oh, I hear the whistle. I think that little guy was my favorite. Faye and the little guy. I think Faye is my favorite by far, and then the little guy. How can they make a little robot like that with so much personality? And what's funny is with the dog whistle, and, you know, he gets the little babies to come to him and all that stuff. Harry, once again, comes out with another one. Don't leave home without it. American Express. That was their slogan.
Oh my goodness.
Uh-huh.
Well, I guess that makes more sense now.
Yeah.
With the slogans, because it wasn't as obvious as when you say it now.
Uh-huh.
Because it, again, not in my mind. Very interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, so very quickly, we're going to wrap this up. The spaceships, once they get their babies, they're just like, bye-bye, and they just take off. To me, it felt like they were angry at the tenants.
They didn't see Carlos, apparently. It sounded like they didn't know who hit him.
Yeah.
Carlos did it, but they only saw Mason and Frank, so they, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you did this.
Yeah. So they fuck off. And then Carlos now is like being all territorial about destroying this building. And so he comes in sabotaging the other guy that Mr. Lacey hired to burn the building down. So it would look completely like an accident. Suddenly Carlos comes in and just starts smacking shit off for the gas pipes. And then all the other guy was saying was like, oh, it's so sloppy.
So I have a question now.
Okay.
How can you, like, I don't understand how he could make it look like an accident. What was with all the balloons hanging?
I know, right?
That just light a cigarette, throw it on a couch, you know?
Yeah, something.
Like,
yeah.
It was a lot of work for it to be sabotaged so quickly by Carlos. Carlos was also the hero. He was the villain and the hero.
I know. That's why I also like Carlos. I like Carlos's character because I think it really, you know, people can change, and maybe it's people's circumstances, and they're like, maybe he was never shown enough love or enough encouragement, which is what Faye was giving him. And it was enough to get him to start thinking on that level. And he's like, yeah, I'll knock the building down because I'm really proud of my work, and I want to make sure I'm doing a good job. I have to prove myself, right? But then he gets out of there and they realize that Faye is in the building. And then he goes, oh, fucking shit. And he has to go in there and save her.
Yes. Except for now, she's like, you're not Bobby. And it was a whole ordeal to get her out of the fucking house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or out of the fucking apartment.
Yeah. So he's just like, all right, I'm coming in.
Yes.
And like at that point, you're like, yeah, I feel for Faye, but stop it. All right.
Stop.
So then the building, you know, blows up and collapses.
It was basically down anyways.
Yeah, it was down. But yeah, then, you know, hospital, blah, blah, blah. Carlos comes in and they try to play him off as Bobby again. But Faye's like, nah, I got your number. He's not Bobby.
Oh, that was so sweet.
It was.
He came with flowers. His hands were all burnt.
Like,
he really turned around. I wish they would have added more to that.
I wish
there was closure for me, the audience.
I know. I felt like they really did the audience a disservice, and they did Carlos's character a disservice by not letting him reconcile with Faye or Frank or any of those people. And instead, he just ends up throwing his flowers away, which I thought that was really sad. And then he fucks off. He sees the building is back, and there's really no closure to his character.
Well, maybe he feels better that the building's back, so he doesn't have to feel bad about it going down.
Yeah. Like, I did my job. I'm not going to touch it again.
It already happened. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, yeah, so the building comes back.
Yeah, so the spaceships come back, and they come with reinforcements. Like, holy shit.
So, like, they can build it in a night.
So, yeah, that's... And then at the end, we have the completed skyscrapers built up around what I now call the Up House.
I was thinking Stuart Little.
Oh, yeah, that's good, too.
But yes.
Yeah. So, anyway.
So
yeah.
How did you feel overall, and what would you rate it?
Oh my god. It was disjointed. I felt like the style of the movie was... they were going for something, but I don't think they quite hit it. Like, I feel like it was missing the mark somehow. And I don't know. I just felt like it tried, but it wasn't enough. somehow. Like, something was just not right, and I can't fucking figure it out. If anybody has any input on that, let us know.
I'm telling you, it's the aliens that give human birth to robotic makings of a baby. Yeah. But, that's one opinion.
My God. It's just, oh God, I don't know. This movie, I think I would give it like a 4.
Okay.
Yeah. It was good. I loved the actors. They all did a phenomenal job. The characters were great. I just felt like the story, maybe the editing of the movie, I think it might have been the editing of the movie, that it could have been done more better somehow.
Done more better.
Yeah. So anyway, 4.
Okay. All right.
What about you?
Well, thank goodness for Faye. I love her.
Yes.
You are right about going back and forth, ups and downs. I did like this one more with the cheerful, upbeat side than the never-ending story.
Oh, yeah.
That is still terrible to me, so I would give this at least like a 5.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Because I still enjoyed parts of it.
Oh, yeah. Same.
But, if they remade this, take out that whole baby making process. Take out gender roles. Like, why do we have to have that for the robots?
I mean, they're robots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why assign a gender?
Have them, make the baby by, like, actually, welding some shit together and be like,
yeah, that would be kind of cool. Mm-hmm. It's just bizarre.
How bizarre. How bizarre. How bizarre.
Because I felt like they were trying to make the robots alive and like a mammal or a reptile or fish or, whatever. But it just, in our brains, it doesn't quite make the cut there because we just think of it as robots. They're just robots.
Well, if Steven Spielberg put like another E.T. in this, I think he already did that. So
yeah, he did. He can't really. It's a little uncouth to redo the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Real quick, I gotta find... Oh.
Yeah, where's your basket?
I got it.
Okay. Good grief, she's never prepared. I'm just kidding.
Why would I always be prepared in life? All right, that goes in the vase.
Oh, God.
Pick the next one.
Why do I get like butterflies in my stomach whenever you pick one? Because I'm like, oh, God.
Because it might
Please don't be a scary movie.
It might be a terrible movie. No.
Oh, my God. You know what? If we made it through this one... I'm just kidding.
I hope it's a scary movie. We haven't gotten a scary movie
We
yet.
haven't gotten a scary... Oh.
Unless you count the never-ending story. But...
I mean, yeah, that could be considered scary shit.
All right. So I have picked Dune, 1984.
Oh, this is great, because I just saw the new one in theaters.
Okay, so
yes.
I'm way behind. But anyways,
all right.
It's time to get on out of
here. It's time to go.
I have movies to watch.
Yeah, apparently we have some more movies to watch. Yeah, so next week will be Dune. I think you'll like it. Real quick, website, silverscreensisters.com. We now have an Instagram at silver_screen_sisters. You're always welcome to email us at connect@silverscreensisters.com. And then lastly, if you are enjoying this episode, or if you did enjoy the episode, if you are enjoying us in general, please give us a rating or a review, because it really helps our numbers. It helps us get exposure. It helps, us climb the charts, especially since we're just now on Apple Podcasts. We want to make it available to so many other people. And then lastly, if you like the episode, tell a friend. Tell a friend to follow us, subscribe to us, whatever, because we want to make more content for you. We want to make more of these episodes, and doing all of that will help us get to a place where we can do more for you guys. So yeah, feel free to go ahead and send us your stories about these movies. What are your favorite movies? What are your least favorite movies? Any personal stories you have with these movies?
We want to hear it.
It all goes. We're going to be putting together listener episodes as soon as we start getting some emails from you guys. And we're really looking forward to getting to know you more. So yeah, don't be shy.
All right.
All right. Well, I love you.
Love you too, sister. I will talk to you next week.
Enjoy the movie.
Yes, you too.
Okay. Bye. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others and leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from us, check out our website at silverscreensisters.com. Silver Screen Sisters 80s edition is hosted by Billie and Sophie. Editing is done by Sophie. and cover art was done by Billie, with special illustration work done by Bacencia. Intro and outro music composed by Future Mono, and hold music composed by the Mini Vandals. This is a Silver Screen Sisters production and is powered by Coffee and Yoga Pants.